So, like I say, apparently some construction workers. Well, like I say, one of those movies, the movie Duel, or one of those. There's this movie that was made. I was making a movie, or I wanted a movie to be made about a truck or something like that, and a bunch of truck workers or truck people basically they made a movie for me basically. I don't know how it happened, but basically it was sometime when I was like 12 or something like that. I wanted a movie to be made, and so a bunch of old truckers or a bunch of truckers got together and got a bunch of trucks and made this movie about a truck or something like that. And it did really well in the box offices. And they later on went out and started doing other things for other communities. And they were just a bunch of construction workers that were just doing things in the Middle East and around, and basically being, they were helping other people, have water and stuff like that. Basically, doing stuff, Lucifer style kind of, just basically helping out. And then apparently they started going up against, they started noticing things, and they started going up against basically what is basically the United States Congress, and stuff like that. And then basically they had like the FBI after them or something like that, and they were trying to like get them or something like that. Anyway, and they realized, some of the truth of what was going on. Like I said, even Hell's Angels would basically face off against, I believe, Richard Nixon or something like that. Even though, like, I think Hell's Angels go back to basically JFK and basically Europe, pretty much. There's photographic evidence and basically some pictures of pretty much JFK, I believe, or what is basically the Golden Boy Kennedy driving around Europe, basically on some bikes with a bunch of other bikers. Anyway, so eventually, I guess, pretty much Hell's Angels eventually start facing off against Nixon or something like that. Nixon starts taking them out or something. I don't really know. I'm not exactly sure. So anyway, so that's who was going after what's called, and also Trumpy, I think, also, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, I don't know. Basically, as pretty much there's a lot of money in motorcycles, because the motorcycles only cost like $300 to make or something like that, and they were selling them for like thousands of dollars basically. So there's a whole lot of money basically in motorcycles, but basically, and pretty much Nixon or JFK or someone wanted access to that money. So the best way to get access to that money is just kill off all the bikers. So I guess that's what he was doing. I don't really know. So Nixon would do whatever it took: chop off arms, kill people. He protected JFK, or basically, them for a long time. Like I said, I mean, it took a lot to basically restrict the fact that the White Star submarines were in Pearl Harbor. I mean, like I say, there's lots of pictures. You see the white submarines right there in the harbor of Pearl Harbor. You look up, you see all those fuel tanks that are white as well. Those are White Star submarines and White Star fuel tanks right there in Pearl Harbor. And all those battleships used to be white. Every single one. They're all White Star property. That's a White Star base, Pearl Harbor. Just like all the others. So, anyway, so yeah, I was Epic Submarine and everything else. At least until JFK, Nixon, and a bunch of other people come along. So, anyway, that's why Princess Diane should have met me. She was supposed to meet me. Like, I am basically White Star, Lucifer, royalty, pretty much. I'm the beginning of royalty. I'm what royalty is. You don't get much more royal than me. So, the King of Kings. So, anyway. And so you see, like, that's how it all plays out, and why it's all crazy, and why and how basically. So basically, Nixon and JFK and everybody else, what they were doing basically is that they were using my orders, or the things that I wanted done, pretending to be me, but telling the public that it was them. But it wasn't them. So it's all this whole big fake out. So you think that, so publicly they're pretending to be whatever, just like you know. So basically, so basically, that's what the Republicans and Democrats have been doing. They've been going on TV for years, and basically, they're not doing anything except for maybe doing bad things, or basically doing whatever, and they're just letting society and everything else flow. And it's actually the individuals and the people in society and the children, and they're just taking the credit for it, taking the whatever for it, or something. I don't really know. I don't care. So, yeah, that's why I say I'm just like, I overanalyzed it and looked into it and thought about it and saw it and basically, and it's like, in general, I don't really care because it's like, well, the mafia knew me. The Mexican drug cartel basically knew me. Um, the mafia used to be growing my cocaine plants and doing everything and just providing it to the people, basically, whatever. And so were the Mexicans are doing it now. It's like, well, your creator wanted the world to have drugs. If I didn't want the world to have drugs, there wouldn't be drugs. So it's like, it's not really, it's not against, so, so, and basically that's basically, but the Republicans, Democrats, certain people want to have money for somehow. So it's like, the Republicans and Democrats wanted to control the drug trade. And basically Nixon was controlling the drug trade. He was the one who I believe, controlled Cuba or something like that. That was Kennedy or whatever, or someone like that. He was in control of Cuba and also these other places. It was Nixon, I believe, controlling Mexico or something like that. So basically, in Nixon's absence, you basically have Hell's Angels and basically whatever. Anyway, so I don't really care. It's like, yeah, or you have like the Bloods and the Crips, which basically just goes to Black Plague upon men, kill the white race. That's Papa. So anyway, like I said, I don't really care. It's like, whatever. I'm just gonna go live in Belfast. I'm just gonna go live in Belfast. With my Irishman. Me and my Irishman, we went all over. We went, it's like I have mansions and places I could live literally like everyone. I played a part in all your civilizations. Gypsies, I mean even Africa. It was built by the British and by what's called, and the black people moved there. And whatever. And then I know the truth about Madagascar, which is Massacre Island. So, so whatever. I know about all these places and all these things and all this stuff that happened over the thousands or millions of years. It's like, that's what happens when you're the creator. I know about the Indian and the Indian Tribal Council. And theoretically, though the children's may not remember me, I'm this person. So, like, so I don't even care. It's like, well, I was your world leader for hundreds of trillions of years, billions, millions. I'm your creator. I'm the one who led you for forever. And it's just a bunch of idiots coming along, or a bunch of stupid people like Zachary or Bill Gates. He's just a piece of shit. That's what you realize, is that, all these leaders, except for maybe Putin, they're all shit. George W. Bush was a piece of shit. His brother was running over people and he got a DUI and they eliminated it. Tried to make him a hero. His family never owned oil wells. He used to fly an aircraft. He was just a soldier or something like that. But they tried to say blah, 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 and they just paid him off. He never fought in World War II. He's not old enough to have fought in World War II. He might have fought in Vietnam, but not in World War II. That was like a long time ago. World War II is like 150 years ago, something like that. So, anyway, so there's all these lies. And you realize that there's all these lies around you. Whatever. Actually, the Chinese or the Japanese used to wipe the walls with everyone, along with the Germans. The Germans and the Chinese were an epic empire that didn't let anyone push them around. That's why they were stomped so hard. Anyway, Japanese. Anyway, those people were a part of my civilization, or part of what is Lucifer White Star. Basically had a leg up on everyone else. America was very much the losing party or the Constitution or Yankees or whatever. Basically, what is this place here was basically getting stomped. Basically, just a bad place for a long time.